Does Matt Ryan make the Colts contenders in the AFC?
No, he does not make them contenders in the AFC. I don't completely understand why you would go get an older version of Carson Wentz and think that it is going to take you somewhere. First of all, to TJ's point in the previous segment talking about the NFC has fallen off, it's because all the talent has gone over to the AFC.
Right.
The AFC is going to be a bloodbath this year in terms of getting there. And I don't know that the Colts, while good, are good enough to ultimately make a difference. And certainly, I don't see Matt Ryan making a difference. Not at 36, not coming off of a season where, as much as Carson Wentz got bagged on, his passer rating was higher last season than Matt Ryan's was. And obviously, with a better team than what Matt Ryan was playing with in Atlanta. But I can't speak for you guys. My overall impression of Matt Ryan is kind of the same as Carson Wentz, which is talented, can put up some really good numbers. But when you need him in that really big spot, does he step up or does he shrink? And there's been too many instances, particularly of late, going back to 2016 in the Super Bowl, where I can't lose sight of Matt Ryan just didn't live up to that Matty Ice reputation or nickname. And that's the way we feel about Carson Wentz. So this idea that Matt Ryan, look, the Deshaun Watson for Baker Mayfield, totally get that. You're trading one thing out for something completely different, gives you everything that you didn't see in the previous model. In this case, you're getting a more experienced version, but for the most part, you're getting the same DNA.
Wow. I like this trade, Rick. I really do like the trade for the Colts. He can be a bridge. He'll be 37 when the season starts, turns 37 in May. But Matt Ryan, you look at what he did last year. You can't even name a receiver that he had outside of Calvin Ridley playing the first 5 games, and then that was it. Matt Ryan played pretty well. You put him in Indy, that offensive line, that run game, that defense has been top 10 in scoring defense the last 2 years. Does it make it contenders in the AFC? No. They'll make the playoffs. But the AFC is too loaded to make them. Matt Ryan isn't that caliber of a player. The Colts don't have that caliber of a team. The AFC is just loaded. They'll get in the playoffs. So they'll be contenders, I guess, by default because they're in the tournament. But I like this move. This is a bridge. Do they draft a rookie this year or next year? Matt Ryan can be that bridge quarterback until that rookie is ready to play. But I believe this is an upgrade from Carson Wentz.
Oh, it's definitely an upgrade from Carson Wentz. We can't. Do we really want to do that? Like, if you regard.
Yeah, no, I'm not arguing that.
Okay.
Just how much of an upgrade is the question?
Well, that's when I think we get into the circumstances, more so than just the individual. You get into the circumstances. There was this same conversation about Matthew Stafford in that trade when he was coming over. How much of it is Matthew Stafford that much of an upgrade? Yeah, people were saying yes, but how much?
Fair.
And they were looking at Detroit like, well, why didn't he do this in Detroit? Why didn't he do this in Detroit? And we saw when you change his circumstances, you change the results, right? Same thing for all of us. You get $5 in your pocket when you used to be broke. All of a sudden, you look a little different, you look a little better. She look at you twice. You put lotion on. I mean, you go from ashy to classy that fast. That's what's going to happen right now to Matt Ryan in terms of us saying, oh, look at the old man going down the hill at 36 years old. Damn, Matt Ryan like that? Cause he's going to a team that has a top 10 scoring defense. Cause he's going to a team with the number 2 rushing attack. Cause he's going to a team with the number 1 defense and turnover differential. Cause he has Jonathan Taylor and that offensive line. No matter what Matt Ryan did in Atlanta, as TJ pointed out, who was he doing it with? A young Kyle Pitts, and then there was a lot of holes, a lot of voids on that roster. Not when you talk about going to Indy. Indy's been to the playoffs 2 of the last 4 years, and they underachieved last year with Carson Wentz, in part why he's out the door. Do you know the Colts haven't had the same Week 1 starter at quarterback in consecutive years since 2015? Now, once again, they won't, but at least they got them a mature leader. Matt Ryan is a man coming into there. Whatever Carson Wentz is on the field, as close as that may be to a Matt Ryan, it starts to distance when you start to talk about leadership, intangibles, and things that you need in the locker room. So they're going back to that Phillip Rivers model when Phillip Rivers took them to the playoffs, but now this is a plus because right now at this stage in his career, Matt Ryan's ready to go out there and make this team a true contender.
You know what? I'd be more likely to buy that if it were the fact that this was just one off year for Matt Ryan. But what we've seen is a slide over the last 3 years with Ryan's performance. So I don't know that it's all just that the Falcons have fallen off and that the Colts are going to answer all the problems. And you both make great points about in terms of what the Colts have. But to that point, like, okay, so how valuable, how vital is it that the quarterback be something significant in order for them to take that next step, especially this next season when I look at the AFC West and the AFC North? I'm sorry, TJ, you saying they'll at least make the playoffs? I don't have them winning the division. And if you're not winning that division, you're not getting to the playoffs because all the wild cards are going either the AFC North or the AFC West. So it's playing for the division title. You have them winning the division title. You have them winning the division.
Yeah.
You have them better than the Titans.
It'll be close. It'll be close. Matt, with that offensive line, Rick, when a quarterback is comfortable and he's protected and you can run the ball, you're going to play better. Matt Ryan is going to be a better quarterback than what we've seen because of what I just said. They have a top 5 offensive line. Jonathan Taylor led the league in rushing. They got young, talented receivers in Michael Pittman, and they may draft a speed guy this year. They will be better.
How much
Matt
better?
Ryan will be a part of that.
How much better is he going to be? That's the question. Like 2016 Matt Ryan?
Phillip Rivers is the quarterback, and they were 11-5. They will be at least that.
Really? 11.
Okay.
So 11-6. So we got an extra game. You're going 11-6. Marcellus, are you co-signing this?
Or 12-5.
They're going 11-6.
What you mean co-signing? I'm on the lease somewhere. I don't know if I'm co-signing. I think it's my property. Look, the Colts are a squad. Once again, we're having the same conversation, basically, it feels like, about Cleveland. They're a quarterback away, and they thought that Carson Wentz was going to return to form, MVP candidate form, when he got back with his former offensive coordinator and now head coach. And how did that turn out? It didn't turn out like they desired. This was a playoff team. But then when the late losses, especially to Jacksonville, took them out the playoff situation. But it was still a team going into Week 17 thinking that they could be in the playoffs. They're that close, and they were in the playoffs and lost to a Buffalo Bills team 2 years ago. Mind you guys, 472 total yards and no turnovers. You know how great an opponent you have to face to lose that type of ball game? So they're telling themselves all we need is a capable quarterback who can lead us, especially when things get tough. And that's what Carson Wentz couldn't do.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for bringing me there, because that's the one thing neither one of you guys has answered to this point. You've given me numbers and you've given me all that. You tell me that you believe that Matty Ryan is a guy that's going to deliver in the big spot.
What's his name? Say his name.
Matty. It was Matty Ice. I don't know what it is right now. Now it's just Matty Ryan. It was
Rick,
Matty Ice.
When you're up 28-3, is that an offensive problem or a defensive problem?
Thank you.
I'm just asking.
No,
is that offensive?
All
or
I know
defensive?
is they got very conservative. All I know is that Matt Ryan didn't make a play in the second half. All I know is that Matt Ryan, for being a veteran quarterback, had the ability to audibilize at the line of scrimmage and never did. He was happy playing that soft, conservative approach that opened the door. That's all I know.
Calling plays. He's not calling the plays. That's a defensive 28-3.
He can't audible.
You should win that game.
No, you can't make him do that. You can't make him buck the system in that situation. Don't put that on Matt Ryan. First of all, you don't lose a game 28-3 in a blink. That's the problem. It happens slowly, gradually. So you first start telling yourself, don't panic. When it's 28-10, you're like, don't panic. 28-7, all right, y'all, come on, y'all, sense of urgency. And it starts to creep up on you. Next thing you know, you should have ran from the snake. But the snake is in striking distance now. Too late. Here comes the venom. But that's still on Kyle Shanahan before it's on Matt ice Matt Ryan, who had a 28-3 lead. That means offensive production right there. But regardless of that, we don't have to talk about Matt Ryan winning a Super Bowl, the highest of highs for a quarterback. We just got to say be more than what we saw out of Carson Wentz. Be capable. Be who you are. Be a leader. Be someone that can inspire others. We got others. We have O-line. We have defense. We have running game. We got what we need. All we need is a capable quarterback. You don't see that, Slick, even beyond the numbers. Matt Ryan's more of a leader than Carson Wentz.
We just talked about more of a leader than Carson Wentz. I'll give you that. But we just talked about being in a big spot an entire second half, where you just needed Matt Ryan to lead. You needed him to make a play. You needed him to step up and do something, just something, in order to turn the tide.
You're comparing Matt Ryan to his second half issues in the Super Bowl. They're comparing Matt Ryan to Carson Wentz in Jacksonville. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the regular season. Like, come on, dog. That's a whole different animal in terms of intensity.
Can't even throw for 200 yards. Couldn't throw for 200 yards in today's football.
I'm not defending Carson Wentz. Don't try to drag me down that rabbit hole. I'm not doing that.
Hey, if Matt Ryan's a quarterback, are they in the playoffs last year? If Matt Ryan's a Colts quarterback, are they in the playoffs last year?
Come on, Slick.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe. I'll give him a shot. But that's last year. That's last year. We're talking about this year. We know how tough the AFC is going to be. We know how high that bar is set. And that is my question. Is Matt Ryan still good enough as a quarterback? For all that the Indianapolis Colts have, is he still good enough at 37, seeing the decline over the last 3 years, that suddenly, magically, he's going to go to the Colts and he's going to have a transformation the way that Matt Stafford had a transformation? And you guys can say, yeah, look at Matt Stafford. Look, he got it done.
Yeah.
But I know we were all questioning whether that was actually going to happen last year for a good part of the season.
Not me. I didn't do like TJ. You ain't got no receipts.
Okay, you were the one guy, TJ.
No, it's two guys.
I know where Marcellus was.
But no, Slick, he's not going to L.A. It's not a fairy tale ending that is needed. You're just trying to put yourself in a better position. Let's be real about the AFC playoff picture. We all have seen this all season, and we all have seen the talent that has all come to the AFC. But Tennessee was the number 1 seed. Remember that, right? Tennessee, I think, is going to take a step back in terms of their performances. We'll see. You got the Chiefs. They're going to be there. Bills going to be there. Cincinnati overachieved last year. Cincinnati. We're going to have this conversation a little bit later. But that's 2 opportunities, mentally at least. Raiders going to ball out. Patriots should ball. We'll see. And the Steelers, Mitch Trubisky, a little hit or miss. We'll figure that out. Every year they reshuffle the deck in terms of the playoff picture. Right now, just on paper, I picked out 3 teams that may not be in that deck going forward next year. It's going to be fun to figure it out. It's going to be fun when you see Matty Ryan put this team on ice.